Fellow Southern Cameroonians, my dear countrymen and women of Ambazonia, brave warriors of our liberation movement, accept revolutionary greetings from me, Comrade John Ba Akuro, the second day of October in the year of our Lord 2019. My dear people, I have a very important and interesting message for us all today. The discussion today is going to center around three things. The first will be the new gimmicks, the new plans that Mr. Paul Biya is preparing to hatch immediately. This is charade of a dialogue ends. The second will have to do with, you know, what we really see some of our elites going through in Yaounde, in that so-called charade, that thing that they are calling dialogue. And the third arm of my message will be just a little announcement. But before I get into that, let me begin by extending hearty congratulations to all our people of Southern Cameroons across the world, especially the ones back home on ground zero, who defied all the odds, who ignored the huge military mobilization in virtually all our local government areas and came out in full force, in huge numbers, to celebrate that which is dear to us, our independence anniversary. You sent once more a clear message to the world. You spoke and spoke very unambiguously again to the entire planet that whatever is happening in Yaoundé has no connection and and nothing to do with you. My dear people, while the people in Yaoundé were carrying out that charade and hoping that they would distract us from that which is so dear to us, you were busy preparing to show the world once more that our only stop, our only destination in this liberation struggle will be freedom, full freedom, total freedom, and as a matter of fact, the assertion of our identity as a people, and that we are ready to take into our hands our own development priorities. That was a clear message. And I guess the world observed that nobody in Southern Cameroon is paying attention to the drama that is being staged in Yaoundé. Not even a single Southern Cameroonian paid attention to that because we are all committed to what we believe in. Kudos. Congratulations once more to each and every one of us because we will fight and fight to the last person. I said here before, and I repeat it, that someone who has defeated and challenged fear and death is that kind of person that never gets beaten. Because we have demystified fear, demystified and defeated death, nobody shall stop our march towards absolute freedom, towards total freedom, towards the restoration, the effective restoration of our independence. Congratulations once more. Now into our message. And again, before I get into that message, I have this side message to Nfon Mukete, Semengo. I followed the deliberations in Yaoundé through short messages that I put through here and there because I also don't pay a lot of attention to that piece of well rehearsed or poorly rehearsed drama. My people, Nfon Mukete made some very frivolous declarations. He claimed that in 1972, it was he, Nfon Mukete, and some of the elite, as they call themselves, from the southern zone, who went and met President Amadou Ahidjo and cornered him and insisted that he should abolish the two-state federation because they were tired of maltreatment from the people of the northern zone, the grassfielders, specifically led by Augustin Gomjua and Solomon Tandem Muna. My dear people, you know, this is not new. This is an old line that the Yaounde regime has used over and over and over to try and divide us. From 2016, when this new phase of our struggle for total freedom restarted, they brought back that argument. They have tried to panel beat it 20 times over in various forms. It has never succeeded in dividing us once more, because they know that the only way they conquer us is to divide us. And when Nfon Mukete, at over 106 years old, lies the way he did, it is shocking and embarrassing, because the history books are there. We all know why President Ahidjo abolished the 1972, the 1961 Federal Constitution. We all know why they staged that constitutional coup d'etat. The history books are clear. It was at the behest of France because of the discovery of oil in Cape Limbo, Indian, and the French wanted to have unfettered access to the oil without having to pass through the trappings of the Southern Cameroon's House of Parliament. They didn't want to hear anything called accountability. They didn't want to hear anything called better negotiation terms and better compensation to the communities where the oil will be drilled. That is why Ndian County is the way it is today, despite providing all the wealth and riches that the people in La République du Cameroon have embezzled over and over and over. Nfon Mukete at 106 and counting should already, at this point in time, be confessing the numerous sins he has committed against the people of the Southern Cameroons. At 106 and counting, Nfon Mukete Esemengo should be struggling to build bridges among the future generations of Southern Cameroonians, not burning them. Nfon Mukete, you know that you are falsehood from start to finish. And I like to say this very clearly. Nfon Mukete is a butterfly that thinks itself a bird. Nfon Mukete is not Bafo. Nfon Mukete, you know it, that you are not Bafo, that you are from the same northern zone, from the same grass field that you are castigating and trying to lie against. Nfon Mukete, you know that your own father came from Oshe in Momo County of the northern zone. From Oshe, that's in the Njikwa local government area. You know it as well as I do. And that it is the Germans who shipped your father from the northern zone down to the southern zone to go work in the plantations. And that your father ended up in the palace of the paramount chief of the Bafors. And that because of his good conduct, he was hardworking, he was everything and all whatnot. And because he was also coy, he ended up taking over the throne of the Bafor people, which ended up with you. Nfon Mukete, I know why you are jittery. I know why you are worried. Because you are asking yourself that in the free southern Cameroons, where the rule of law will reign, what is going to happen to you with all what you have done to the Bafor people in Meme County? You have dispossessed them of land. You have taken everything that belongs to them. I know. At a point, every good thing that had to come from the Biya regime to the people of Meme County needed to go only to the Mukete family. That is why your children are everywhere in that system. And therefore, you have to do everything to please that system, even as you pass out to perpetuate your dynasty. Nfon Mukete, why do you think that we don't know the kind of trappings that happened to Ndoki, Prince Ndoki Mukete, and all of the others? We know exactly what you have done to the Bafor people, the criminal things you have done to the Bafor people. We know how you have extorted from them, how you have made their lives difficult over the years. And you know that the only way to keep this is to have a system where the rule of law doesn't reign. Sorry, I'm afraid to disappoint you. Southern Cameroons is real, and Bazonia is real, and the rule of law will reign. The time of reckoning will come, and the people of Bafor will duly regain what belongs to them. Nfon Mukete, I repeat again, you are a butterfly thinking yourself a bird. Do not tell lies here. Do not think that we don't know. And do not forget that the fact that some tree species grow in water doesn't make them fishes. Take note about that. So much for you, Nfon Mukete. You ought to now be doing everything to reconcile yourself with the people and to reconcile yourself with your God as you await the ultimate moment to embark the journey to the land of no return. Shameless old man. Now, on to the message I bring. Mr. Paul Biya already is back at the drawing board preparing the next distraction that will follow his charade of a dialogue. If my sources at the presidency of the Republic in Yaounde are to be trusted, and I've always trusted them, then a new government will be announced a few days, I mean very few days after this so-called charade of dialogue ends on October 4, that is Friday in 2 days. And in that new government, Mr. Paul Biya plans, because that's already done, plans to compensate Okalia Bilai Bernard, the colonial governor of the southern zone, and Adolphe Lele, the colonial governor of the northern zone, for totally destroying the fabric of the southern Cameroons for several years, and especially for also misrepresenting the wishes and ambitions of those southern Cameroonians that could still manipulate into thinking that something good was going to come out of that dialogue in Yaounde. My brothers and sisters, that is the plan. And of course, there is serious contemplation on whether it is time enough to compensate Barrister Nkongo Felix Agbobala for staying moderate all this while with a ministerial position. And when I say this, I feel so sad for my brother Nkongo Felix Agbobala because I saw him virtually begging, pleading before Minister Philip Ngolengwese to consider federalism at all costs. Because if that doesn't happen, a good lot of those who have been deceiving themselves that federalism was still possible in Biya's agenda will become extremists, as he said, will become radicalized, will become separatists. I think Mr. Bala simply came short of saying that he himself would definitely become a separatist at the end of these talks. I saw him beg, virtually beg. He said he has put his honor, he has put his everything he ever owns as image into that stuff, believing that by some miracle, the devil will have mercy. Mr. Bala and all those who still run around calling themselves federalists. I saw Padi Asanga crying same. I saw Dr. Eseme Wilson crying same. I think you have learned your lesson. Somewhere in July of 2018, I announced in a video that La République du Cameroon has no plans of ever reverting to federalism. That Minister Laurent Esso wrote a confidential memo to the head of state, informing him that after his tour in Belgium and other parts of the world to meet the diasporans, he had come to the conclusion that there was a federalist trend that was gaining some grounds, and so the government should secretly, coyly encourage it, but not because they ever hope to revert to federalism, but just so they should use it as a strategy to break our ranks. Some of you thought that it was a farce. I think today you can see it playing out so well. As far as Mr. Paul Biya is concerned, they have caged Anglophones, as they call us. They have caged Southern Cameroonians as their slaves, and no master ever deliberately hands over freedom to a slave, or at least gives slaves rights to move from the kitchen into the sitting room, let alone seeking a place on the table. That doesn't happen. And when I saw my brother, Nkongo Felix Agbobala, begging, virtually crying for mercy, I said, this guy doesn't know a thing. He doesn't understand that the devil doesn't know mercy. Someone cannot be giving you what he or she doesn't have. La République du Cameroun is not a system to trust. La République du Cameroun is a system of permanent falsehood. I announced earlier that the resolutions of this so-called dialogue had long been prepared, And they were just waiting for the charade to take place and they announced them. And after that, the reward season begins. So like I've said, Lele Adolphe Lafrique will be brought in and Nganu Jumesi Emmanuel from Mbuda will be sent home to go and stay on the reserve bench. And at the same time, that Okalia Bilai Bernard will be coming in. Rene Emmanuel Sadi, who is currently Minister of Communication, will also be sent to the reserve bench to go and take a rest. And then, in their place, Mr. Paul Biya has already picked out the names of two 11th province people. I guess you understand what I mean by 11th province. Francophones who were born and bred in southern Cameroons and who have adopted the Anglo-Saxon culture and who speak English so well, and because that is, I mean, the language of instruction that they have, you appoint them now as governors in the northern zone and the southern zone to tell the world that after the dialogue, he had decided to send our own people to administer us. Again, that is going to be the worst form of the drama that we are seeing thus far. My dear people, it is time for us to get wise. Sometimes when I say these things, some people say, Mr. Kuro, why do you always announce these things and they don't come to pass? When I bring out these things, the intention is to nip them in the bud. The intention is to destroy that they don't come to pass, to ruin our people, or at least to warn our people. So in case they effectively come to pass, our people will not be derailed. Our people will be better prepared to face such situations. That is the message that I bring to all of us this day. That is the important thing we must bear in mind. And for women, who, this is the announcement now, for women who run civil society organizations across southern Cameroons, in the various counties and in the two zones, beware. There is a new association created by the enablers, and they are trying to recruit women's organizations from the southern Cameroons into that organization because they want to use that organization to dissipate the 10 billion CFA that was set aside by the United Nations that they're giving to La République du Cameroon to use in building peace. And so these women want to claim a 10-region representation, and they are looking for you to be used. Be careful, be careful, be careful. The so-called Cameroon Women Whatever for Peace is not a good intentioned organization. Don't get yourselves mixed up. To God be the glory.